Okay, so let's just settle into our meditation position. I'm going to have to skip a few things. We've been chatting so much. And if you do have time, Shanti Davis Center, Venerable Ravina through Shanti Davis Center has been doing some meditations with them. So if you actually have time to join those in the day, it's actually really quite worthwhile. There's lots of stories coming out of Kopan, and it's nice to kind of hear, even though we can't be there. It's very nice to hear what's going on there. And it's amazing the monastery's feeding everyone. You know, Kadrala said, make sure everybody's well fed and give them cups of tea. And so that's what they're doing. So yeah, it sounds amazing. Anyway, let's get back to our own little practice. So this is just our contribution, you know, our small contribution. So we start by settling into your meditation posture. And just remembering, you know, whatever it is that's going on for you right now, however it is you're showing up this evening, it's just all perfectly okay. And just check your sitting position. Just do it very quickly by yourselves in your mind, starting with your posture. Make sure you're aligned, and then just relax from the top of the head all the way down. And check if there's any sounds in your environment. Try not to follow them with the mind, and then just notice what's going on in the mind and just allow your thoughts to arise and abide. And if you're not catching them and examining them and holding on to them and creating stories, then they will just kind of flow along by themselves. So just imagine you're a detached observer with interest and without any kind of opinions. So this is the substance of your mind is curious to you. And then if you take the judgment out of it, you can take a step back and have an objective view, then you can make a decision about how you want to follow through with certain things. Rather than being reactive, you take a step back, give yourself some space, think about things, and then act. So bring to mind all those people of our life. So these are the ones we love, the ones we don't love so much, and then the precious strangers. Remembering they can all change place at any time, and then also remembering they're equal. They're the same as you and me, and they wish to be happy, they wish to be free from suffering, and in having this extraordinary capacity for an enlightened mind. So we'll do this practice this evening for the benefit of all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So I think there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can equally create positivity with our mind instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And just think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, just regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we ourselves will experience. And so logically, it makes sense that we will pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think I'm sick of this suffering. And then think what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? And so here we come to the power of reliance. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, the doctor who has the methods that we can use to purify. And so we're not asking Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you, a couple of inches above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine that this is your teacher, your spiritual mentor, if you have one, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made a radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And his face is radiant and beautiful. His eyes are shaped like lotus petals, and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart. The left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you've harmed recently, and then think of someone who's harmed you, particularly for these people, this person, because the harm they've caused you is going to manifest as suffering for them in the future. So this is why we feel compassion for them. So I think I'm going to do this practice for the benefit of all these sentient beings and think I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite full from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Te. So be delighted that any harm you've done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And think there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with the body. And the next is the purification of speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, just this time filling your entire body from the bottom up to the top. So you can just imagine it's kind of flushing up and out and over and purifying all the negativities of the speech. So you imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebo Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe. So feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with this speech. So just imagine that even the most difficult conversations that you have to have with people will benefit their mind, and that you'll be able to deliver these talks with kindness and compassion, intelligence, and without anger. Just one example. So start with the next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you turn on a light in a dark room, pitch black room. That light instantly dispels the darkness. It's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, just imagine this kind of like explosion of light. It sort of completely eradicates all these negative delusions of depression, anxiety, anger, bitterness, grudges, violence, jealousy. All of this gone. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sutokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sitokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sitokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sitokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, rejoice, all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally gone. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sitokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sitokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sitokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sitokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sitokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta Miboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Miboa Sitokaya Miboa Sipokaya Miboa Anarakta mebo sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami matsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe. Ambhaja sapa samaya manupalaya vajra sapa dina patita. Dida mebo sitokaya mebo sipokaya mebo. Anarakta mebo sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. So now feel you're completely purified, not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve. So we have a few minutes. So let's just meditate as we've been doing. Remembering this is kind of crucial, this decision that we make to not harm. So, I think you'll find that even though you are not specifically thinking, oh, I won't harm such and such with my speech, or I'm not going to bite my nails, even if you just make a general wish to refrain from harming, I think that probably is also going to have a huge impact. I know for myself, it just making like that vow to myself, it just kind of stops you a little bit in your tracks. So you don't just kind of throw everything out the mouth or take actions with the body. So you can meditate on that, this idea, let that idea sink into your heart that you want to refrain from harming with your body, your speech, and your mind. Your mind mostly involves yourself, negative self-talk, anger, desire. And then if you want to get specific, you can think of maybe a particular habit that you have that you want to refrain from, that you would like to work on. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think my Guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And so next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on a little bit on emptiness. So you think in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for just a moment while we just think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, just a little prayer. The wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in the world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And this is Chögyam Rinpoche's. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general and the teachings of the victorious Jamyang in hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma holding the 3 vows and wearing saffron robes, Please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, unable to bear that transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through your great loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly. Beautified by the ornament of supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious one through listening, reflection, and meditation. Guide of all transmigratory beings along the perfect path, true and perfect pure Guru, please return quickly. Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe-Shera, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. We made it. 8:30. Thanks, everybody. Lots of love. Sleep well, and I will see you all tomorrow evening.